Star Wars geek girls. They're geek girls that like Star Wars. And sometimes cry.
Okay, it is recording.
Yay.
Hi, I'm Zoe from Star Wars Geek Girl.
And I am Lizzy from Star Wars Geek Girl.
And we're going to talk about Star Wars.
Star Wars. Because we're Star Wars Geek Girls.
Yeah.
How are you, Zoe?
I am faring well in quarantine. I'm going to paint a Purrgil on my wall. So.
Wow. Do it. Yeah. I'm working on the Sabine epilogue helmet for once.
Nice.
And then I'm going to get approved as Sabine for my season 3. Yes, season 3 Sabine, because I'm 18 now.
Rebels.
Mercs.
Nice.
Yes. It's going to be a fun time. Okay, so Clone Wars. So this new arc after the Bad Batch one is now about Ahsoka.
It's Ahsoka's walkabout.
Yes, she looks like she's doing okay. She just left the Jedi, and I really like how, like, in Clone Wars, like, they brought it back, and the episodes, they just feel like they never went away to me.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so I really liked how they did. I don't know how they did that, but they done it. Yeah, I didn't realize how much I liked Ahsoka. Like, before, with the old Clone Wars, I was like, oh, she's cool. She's a cool character. She's nice. She good character development. But, like, I really like her in these episodes. She's just really cool. So there's what was I saying? She just left the Jedi. She has a bike and she has a cute jumpsuit. It's super, super cute. It's nice and blue and it matches her. And I notice with every episode, like, there's like this kind of light on her. I don't know what it is. It could just be like just the colors and just the lighting in general, but it's always on her and it's so beautiful. And she's like a little bundle of light and it's great. I love that. So she goes in and she goes to, where does she go? I don't remember what it's called.
The lower levels, 1313.
Mm-hmm. The lower levels of Coruscant. And she has a bike and it's trash. And she's like spinning out of control and it's cool. And she lands on a platform where we meet Trace. And Trace is so cute. Trace is adorable. And she's so cool.
Bike is trash.
His name is Trash, yes. But Trace goes in and tries to help her with it. And what's happening? Trace is working on her own ship, and it's from scratch, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And she's working so hard on it, and they go and they meet, a gang comes by, and I thought it was so cool, because Trace is such a good fighter. I was kind of, like, really surprised by that. I don't know why, but, like, they've been living in 1313 for a while. I'm sure they have to learn.
Yeah.
So she was cool, and, you know, Ahsoka's kind of being dark and mysterious because, you know, she can't really say that she was a Jedi. But then she helps Trace, and Ahsoka is just so strong and so cool. Like, I can't express that enough. She just fights really well, and then so that they have the gang, and then they go and they have to talk to Rafa because it was Rafa's fault that they had to fight them in the first place. And Rafa's pretty cool. She's really sketchy, but pretty cool. They're the Marquez sisters, right?
Yeah.
That's the last name, yes. I really like them. It's just kind of what's it called? Rafa is just very doesn't trust anyone. She wants credits to help support Trace and such. And, they're living alone. They have no parents because that's how Star Wars be. You just have no parents. And then, Rafa is taking a bunch of jobs that are very sketchy. They have to repair these droids, and Ahsoka recognizes them, and they're kind of like evil droids. And one is loose, and while they're chasing after them, they see a Mando. Well, they don't see a Mando. We see a Mando, but I can't remember who it was, but I think it was Ursa, right?
Yeah, it was Ursa Wren, because I remember because I recognized her helmet, and I thought
That's
her
what I
voice
like.
sounded really familiar. And then at the end of the credits, it said Ursa Wren, and I was like, I knew it.
I didn't see that at first. I just saw, because everything was happening so fast. I was like, oh, Mando, okay, let's keep going. So Ahsoka's trying to hide her powers, but Trace is having a hard time with the droid, and she uses the powers, but very subtly. Which I feel like she could have. I don't know. She could have just picked it up. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know how Jedi work.
I mean, it's also probably out of habit, because she very rarely before had to hide her powers. So
yeah.
It was probably partially just her instinct, was to use the Force.
No, yeah. That makes sense, because she just got out, and she's still I like this arc, and I know a lot of people didn't, but I really liked it because we explored Ahsoka and how she's adapting to the real world and people's opinions on the Jedi and such, and I think that's just really cool. It's a lot of character development and understanding and stuff, so it's understandable when people don't like it, but also character development's good. It's not all about fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rafa still sends the droid and sells them, right? I haven't seen the first few episodes in a while. So what happens? I'm lost. Zoe?
After she sells them, they're at the wharf, and
yes,
and they walk off, and then the next episode,
there's lots of Tuca cats.
Yes, Tuca cats.
They were really
and
cute.
now it makes sense, because the Ahsoka Force of the Destiny doll, which I have, it comes with a little Tuca. And I was like, that's cool. I'm glad I have a Tuca. But Ahsoka never really hung around with Tucas, and now I'm like,
but in that one,
but
yeah, or that one episode where Ventress is helping Ahsoka, and she thinks Ahsoka's coming back, and it's a Tuca.
There are Tucas. You're right.
Yeah.
Forgot about the Tucas there.
There's so many Tucas everywhere. And then
the best episodes are ranked by how many Tucas are in them. So if an episode doesn't have a Tuca, it's automatically bad. That's just the rule. Right?
Duh. Yeah, of course it is. That's how everyone should grade Clone Wars episodes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the new rule, guys. You're a fake Star Wars fan if you don't. So yeah, that happens. Where do they go after that? They have to after the wharf.
Well, they go and also I need to point out that there's a space laundromat, and I just thought it was cool. That was in the first episode.
Yes, because that's what Rafa uses to hide her identity, kind of.
I don't know why, but I really love normal person things, just being in Star Wars, but spaceified. It's one of my favorite things. It's just oh, it's a space bulldozer. It's amazing. I love it. Just turn it into space version. It's the best.
Space laundromat.
Yes.
You're very excited.
It's but it looks like a normal laundromat, but it's a space laundromat.
Space, so that's why it's better.
Yeah, I love it.
Galaxy's Edge should have that now.
Take you want to do your laundry, but you have to pay I forget how much tickets are. I blocked that out of my mind.
150.
Yeah, you pay 150 for tickets, and then you still have to pay to do your laundry in the space laundromat.
Yeah, but it's space, so it's worth it.
My laundry better take 5 seconds if I'm paying them 150 for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But
then episode 2, Ahsoka and Trace are hanging out, and then Rafa's like, "Hey, got a job," and they're like, "Okay," but she needs a pilot because the other pilot backed out on her. So Trace is the pilot, and Trace is a bad pilot.
Yeah.
Or she isn't, at least at first. But like, it's really weird though, because I can't remember anyone being like a bad pilot. Like, people fly all
Yeah.
the time, but like, you never, like, even the characters that aren't like the pilot character, like, still fly. Like, Zeb flies a Phantom, and he's a great pilot, or a good pilot at least.
Yeah.
But like,
That's true.
Trace just doesn't.
Trace, like, the whole ship is shaking, and then Ahsoka's like, "What's that noise?" And she's like, "Oh, I put the parking brakes, whatever, on. Sorry."
And then,
I'm like, that's it's not good.
yeah, it's just funny.
I really like that so that shot where she's flying and the Admiral
Yularen.
Yularen?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So he asks, he's like, "Oh, just, random teenagers, should we arrest them?" Like, dang, like, why? Why would you? That's
man
so
is
much.
tired.
I guess.
He's put up
But
with Anakin for all these years.
that's true.
Like,
He needs a
he
break.
just kind of gets a pass, honestly. Except for when, like, in Rebels when he goes all, like, full fascist and stuff. But, like, in Clone Wars,
True.
he gets a bit of a... I loved Admiral Yularen when I was a kid watching Clone Wars. Like, if you asked me who my favorite character was, I wouldn't have said Admiral Yularen, but I, like, really liked him. I don't know why.
Why? Okay.
I don't. But I don't know. He was just cool. Like, he hung around with Anakin and Ahsoka, and he was just, like, kind of British sassy, It was fun.
Fun British sassy man.
Sort of like Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan, if Obi-Wan wasn't British, he would not be as funny. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Like, when, I forget what episode, but there was one episode when me and Safi were watching Clone Wars as kids, and Obi-Wan says, "What in blazes?" And we thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Like, for years, we would just say "what in blazes" to each other and just crack up laughing. Just saying.
Wow. I don't think I've ever had, well, not that, I don't know.
Anyway, so they have that scene, and it's shot for shot Luke and Vader sensing each other from Empire Strikes Back, which is very cool.
It's very sad, but very cool.
That's one thing Clone Wars does a lot that neither Rebels, mostly, or Resistance did, was just take scenes and just kind of do them pretty much shot for shot, but with these characters, or like directly call back to lines.
Yeah.
Rebels did it some, but Clone Wars does it, like, because I rewatched Clone Wars right before the new season started, and I was like, that's Return of the Jedi. That's A New Hope. That's Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I thought it at first, I just thought it reminded me of Rebels, like, when they sense each other, because I was thinking of just Ahsoka and Vader. I wasn't thinking of Luke, yes. I was thinking of that more than I was thinking of Luke, and how they sensed each other, but then, like, Ahsoka finds out it was Anakin, and I'm big sad now. But I thought that was so sad.
But
I
do think it's cool, though, because one thing that, if you like read interviews and stuff with George Lucas, what he stressed the most about the prequels was that they were to call back to the originals, and it was poetry, and it was like the prequels have a lot of shots that either mirror or are the same as shots from the original trilogy, and lines and everything. And I think I always thought Clone Wars, because Clone Wars does that more than the other shows, I always thought, like, that George Lucas's influence keeping everything tied to the original trilogy. And I think because George Lucas didn't work on these episodes, so it's cool that they're keeping that alive and keeping the spirit of Clone Wars with that, even though he's not working on it.
Yeah, I mean, Dave was trained by the best.
Right.
I don't know. I don't remember what I was I don't remember what I was listening to. I think I was on the Rogue Rebels podcast, but I think my dad said like Dave Filoni said, "Oh,
I was on that podcast.
I miss George Lucas." Was it?
He said that doing Clone Wars without George Lucas was a lot harder than he
Yeah,
thought it would be.
and I was like, "Wait, is he dead? Like, what happened?" I'm so confused. But I realized like, oh, because he's not physically there, and I was like, oh, okay, I got you. I was like, I thought he was dead for a second. I was like, did I miss something? Like, yeah, that was interesting. So they have to go. Rafa has a job. They go to Kessel. We never seen trees on Kessel.
No, so I guess I thought Kessel was all like from Solo. We see like the Kessel, and in Rebels we see like the mine part.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like all like
We never see the beautiful part of Kessel.
wastelandy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but then they go to like I know there was trees and Twi'leks and stuff, just like having a palace in Kessel, which was cool and interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought. Go ahead.
Well, because they're being hired by. He's like the king. Is that what he was? He was royalty.
He was. Yeah, it was a king, but the guy, the Twi'lek that was there, was the something Domo.
Yeah, I was trying to remember his title, but he's the king.
Major Domo.
Major Domo, right. So they're delivering spice to the Pikes. So already we've got spice, which I think is just right. I think spice at this point is just Star Wars talk for we need these characters to do something morally bad without like murdering innocent people.
Yeah.
So we're doing spice.
Which is like, that's what it is, but it's kind of strange.
Yeah, it's but you think that is like, because like we don't want them to be like a murderer, but they need to do something, have like a troubled past. So it's spice. It's always spice. Because Han, Poe, we talked about that. And then now the Martez sisters, but they don't really deliver the spice because they dump it, which we get to later. But like other people, I think Lando does too at some point. I'm sure Lando does.
I'm like 99.9% sure Lando might have.
It's just
It's strange. I feel like I can't think of any other jobs at the top of my head, to be fair. Like besides like gambling or stealing. I don't know.
I can't remember if this is the one that I didn't record properly or not.
Probably.
But I think I said with Poe, I was like, he could have done like illegal droid parts or something.
Yeah,
but
like
if they did that, then they wouldn't have been able to tie it to Kessel, and tying it to Kessel was cool. So it's like, it's hard.
Yeah, it is. But it's an interesting topic. But it's I'm trying so hard not to talk about things. Anyway, so they're running spice.
And while they're going to the Pikes, which that's the other thing, they're don't mess with the Pikes. I think that's been pretty established.
Yeah, but so right before they leave, they go and pick up the spice, and I thought it was so interesting because they said, Trace was like, "Oh, look at all those droids," and Ahsoka's like, "That's not droids. Like, those are people." And it's like they're so, like, they're just so oblivious. Like they didn't know that those were just people. Those were slaves.
Yeah.
And what's it called? Rafa says like, "Oh well, they couldn't be slaves. Like the Republic will shut them down." And Ahsoka's like, "Oh, well, I mean, you'd think so." But no.
Yeah, I think that creates such like an interesting relationship for Ahsoka and the Martez sisters because Ahsoka is pretty naive on her own where she doesn't really know the realities of having to live in the lower levels of Coruscant and not being
Right.
up in the Jedi Temple where she's pretty much taken care of. Even though she's fighting war, obviously, I don't want to
Yeah,
discount that part,
she
but
can eat, she can she doesn't need money for anything,
no,
she's chilling.
where but she also, because she's so well traveled and she's seen so much of the galaxy and she's been able to study a lot, the Marta
Mhm.
sisters, compared to her, are really naive about a lot of things too. Like, they don't really know about traveling or flying, or the fact that
Yeah.
the Republic doesn't really have as much influence as it pretends to. And I think that creates a really
Yeah.
interesting dynamic for all three of them.
Yeah, it is really weird. And Rafa even blurts out how do you know so much? Why does she know so much? like they don't like they technically didn't know that much about the Pikes, and yet they were still going to do this deal, even though it's extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
And then when Ahsoka tells Rafa hey, they're bad people. They're gonna take your ship. They're gonna take our lives. This is not a good job. I see. Sometimes I love, and then I hate Trace, and I feel bad because she started freaking out. Trace worked on this. I understand because Trace worked on this ship probably her not her whole life, but her whole life, and it was a lot of work, a lot of money. She sacrificed her materials for Ahsoka's speeder and stuff. So it's just she starts freaking out, and then her solution to all this, to not delivering the spice, is dumping it. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not
And it's even it was more of a throwaway thing that Ahsoka said. She didn't get in Trace's face and she's like, if we do this, they're gonna steal your ship. She just said it kind of in passing almost to Rafa when she was arguing about the spice, and Trace really latched onto it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was sort of because I was watching it and I was because I saw Rafa's point. She probably shouldn't have taken the deal in the first place, but now that she did,
There's no
backing
going
out
back.
obviously was not good.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I
not a
got
good
Ahsoka's point that it's morally wrong. If I was Rafa, I probably would have done the deal, in that specific situation, because it's well, it's the Pikes.
There's no one going back. Yeah.
Right. And I think
See,
Ahsoka, in a sense, was arguing, but I think she, before Trace dumped the spice, I think she kind of knew that they had to go through with it at this point.
Yeah, but and she was bringing up things oh well, medicine and donating it, or stuff like that, and I was like, well, what is Trace says, what is that supposed to solve? And even Ahsoka's well, it was just an argument,
Yeah.
against actually doing it, and I was like, well, that doesn't help anything. It was a hot topic.
Although I will say this whole experience, I think the Martez sisters have been very turned off from a career of spice running. So Ahsoka did do something good by
Yes,
being there.
I do think
so.
that. Yes, I do
they'll
think
stick
that.
to their repair shop for now.
I hope so.
Yeah. Or leave the lower levels of Coruscant entirely, because now that Trace's ship is working, I can kind of do that. You know.
True.
So. Yeah. So. But yeah, anyway, so Trace dumps the spice, and both Ahsoka and Rafa are like, what is wrong with you?
Why?
And Rafa, look, I love Trace. She's great. Has my hair, sort of. Love her. But Rafa's my favorite.
Yeah, I would say Ruff is my favorite.
Yeah. And I think that might be because we're older sisters, to be fair.
Yeah.
But
Trace was kind of being a dummy.
not necessarily
just a little. I mean, she did dump the spice, and then,
I feel
later.
I don't know how old Trace is. Because I feel like I kind of read her as being
I'd say 16, 17-ish.
I read Trace as being 18, 17, 18. But
yeah.
if you told me oh, she's 14, I'd be like, yeah, I guess I could see that. But
I couldn't see that physically, but like mentally, yes.
So mean. But yeah, yeah,
I
I
just
was
think
mad at Trace.
Rafa's.
Like I saw her like over the panel, and like they like kind of like had a shot of the bud, and I'm like, don't do it, don't do it, and she did it. And I was like, no, why?
Yeah.
That solves nothing.
I thought it was, yeah, that was really frustrating. And then they're like trying
I
to
would
come
have
up
hit
with
her
a
if I
plan.
was Rafa. I would have hit her. Just saying, like, sorry,
Smack
Sappy,
her
I
against.
would have hit you if you did that.
Oh, poor Sappy.
I don't abuse my sister.
No, Sappy's smarter. She would do good. Um, yeah, there was no bueno. But then they get there, and I legit thought they were gonna walk out. I thought, cause they went in, and then they
Ahsoka did
obviously, yeah, like obviously Ahsoka didn't tell them like, hey, I'm gonna do a mind trick on them.
They were
so like
surprisingly trusting. She's like, don't
yeah,
worry, I got it. I'm gonna, and they're like, but like they didn't really show her telling the plan. They kind of cut away, but like she had like I'm just in my head imagining Trace like or Ahsoka being like, okay, so we're gonna go there. We're gonna give them empty boxes, and then don't let them check them. And I'm just gonna tell them it's fine, and we're gonna leave. And Rafa's like, what?
I mean, she does say like, I don't know if that's gonna work, but like
she still did it though.
Yeah, she was still like, it's cool. But and then she's like, yeah, I like this plan. I'm like, nothing happened yet. Like, hold on.
But like, I'm just like, how does Ahsoka explain that? She's like, no, they're gonna believe me. How do you know that? They just are. Just trust. Like, if I was like Rafa, I'd be like, does she have some kind of connection to the Pikes I don't know about?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just funny to think about how that went down, especially because Ahsoka worked with Anakin for so long, who is the best at just kind of spontaneously doing something. Like I was thinking about I think it was season 1, but it might have been season 2. I'm not good at exact episode placements, but and there's the episode where they're fighting over Ryloth. I think it's called Storm over Ryloth. And
possibly
there's the blockade. And they lose, I think, a ship or two, and like they don't know what to do. And Anakin's like, okay, I'm gonna take the one ship and I'm gonna fly it straight into the Trade Federation ship and get everyone off. And Ahsoka's like, okay, you're gonna die. And he's like, no, I'm not. And she's like, wait, what? And he's like, you'll figure it out, and just leaves. And that's what this made me think of. Like, she's taking a page from his book, for sure.
The Skywalker Academy.
Yeah, Skywalker Academy, her big brother.
I know. So much feels. I heard that and I was like, oh my god. Because it's just so cute.
Well, in between that and paralleling her to his son, like...
To his son?
Yeah, when they do the shots and it's shot for shot Anakin and Ahsoka versus Vader and Luke.
Oh, yeah.
They parallel Ahsoka to Anakin's son. But yeah, so then they walk out, and I thought they did it too.
I thought they were gonna be fine, and then yeah, one of the other guys was like, "Hold on, wait a second," and then they get caught.
To be fair to like Trace and Rafa, well, mostly Rafa, because it's kind of Trace's fault. I don't know what Ahsoka expected to happen when they opened the boxes after they left.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, good plan in theory-ish, but like...
Ish.
Do you think they wouldn't, like, try to find you?
Yeah.
She's learning. It's okay. She's learning.
She is learning. She's getting there.
Yeah.
But they get caught, of course. I don't know why I doubted that they would get caught, but they did. And then what happens? They're in the cell. Is this the one where they like escape and then they get
they're in the
Again?
cell, and Ahsoka, Trace, and Rafa are hanging around talking, which is one of my favorite scenes in the arc, was just them talking. And Rafa has this really great monologue about what happened to her parents, where there was a ship, like a freighter or something,
They were
that was
hunting
going to
Zero.
crash into a really populated landing zone. But then it
Mm-hmm.
crashed. But then a Jedi diverted it, lost Zero the Hutt, which is that was when Cad Bane freed Zero the Hutt, which was a cool callback,
Yeah.
and crashed the ship into a wall, and it went through the wall and killed Trace and Rafa's parents. And I'm
Yeah.
assuming it was Luminara and Dooley that came and
Yeah,
talked to
no,
them.
it was. I think that's what Wikipedia says.
Well, because in her monologue she said like dark robes and light green skin and blue eyes. And so immediately I was like, okay, it's either Luminara or Barris, and it doesn't sound like something Barris would say. So it's
Yeah, I don't
Luminara.
think. Yeah, that was tough. There's a yeah, no, it was
It's
because
one
she just comes up to them and says like, "Oh, well, may the force be with you. Your parents are dead."
yeah, and
So like,
it's one of those things where it's like it's hard because like I like Luminara a lot. Like she's not perfect, obviously, but I think she's a great character. And so
I
like
think
I don't really
she's
like I don't blame her. You know, I think it's nature for anyone. If you see just a wall or a landing platform with tons of people on it, you want to move the ship into the wall. You
right,
know,
but there
so I don't
was
blame
like
her for that.
the way
And
that she said like
right,
instead of like, I'm sorry for your loss, or we're so sorry, like it was more like, well, the force, that it just be like that sometimes.
I mean, I don't think
um
that's what Luminara meant. I think she was kinder than that. But
I mean, she's
but also
I
that's
like to say that she's kind of like how the Jedi are technically supposed to, because like they're not supposed to have connections. They don't like understand these things.
well, I don't
They
think it's
don't
not that they don't
understand the
understand. They have funerals for people. They deal with
right.
loss. You know, I think for Luminar, I think it's just a cultural disconnect because I think to Luminar, like if Luminar was talking to a Padawan who lost her master, that would be a good thing to say because that's how the Jedi handle things. And
Right.
for Luminar saying that to someone who doesn't really care about the Force doesn't mean anything to them. I think Luminara was comforting them the way she would want to be comforted.
Yeah, but like
And it just
Luminara is kind of disconnect, like you said, like there's a disconnect when Ahsoka and Barriss were under there and they were trapped. Like Luminara was like, "All right, let's get out."
not well, she was looking for her Padawan too.
Right, but she wasn't doing much. Like Anakin wanted to go in and like help them and stuff. But I don't know.
I think like it's one of those it's I don't know, like it's easy I think to just be like, "Oh, the Jedi suck," you know? And I think
Mhm.
but I think episodes like these show that like like in this case, I don't besides maybe not trying to do more to like actually physically help the kids, which even would be hard to have the resources for that during wartime possibly. I think I think like it's hard for me to be too blaming of the Jedi cuz they're trying their best and people are turning on them and it's not exactly their fault because not everyone sees what we see as the viewers. So it's
Mhm.
just difficult, I think. Um I don't know. Like the Jedi are deeply complicated, I think. And it's
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, I think generally too many people get stuck up in being like, "Oh, the Jedi are perfect. Oh, the Jedi are evil." It's like, "No, not
Yeah.
really."
Well, they're not the greatest.
No, but I think there's a lot of things out of their control, unfortunately, that I think lead to a lot of the things that they get blamed for. You know, I'm not saying they were perfect or blameless, but
Mhm.
like it's easy for people to be like, "Oh, well, they're supposed to be peacekeepers. They couldn't have gotten involved. They shouldn't have gotten involved in the war." When the Separatist army was
Right, but they have no
committing
choice when they're
genocides,
yeah.
and at the same time, like what if the Jedi hadn't gotten involved? Then would people be like, well, they're supposed to be trying to keep the peace. Why aren't they doing anything for the war? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
hard. I think they were stuck in a no-win situation with everything.
Of course. It's just it's difficult to please everyone, and
Yeah.
everyone's gonna have their different opinions, and this is real life too. Like, they're trying as hard as they can, but again, they can't please everyone. And if they do if like you said, like if they do one thing, someone else is gonna get mad. If they do that, someone else is gonna like. It doesn't matter. Um, they're just trying their hardest to keep the peace, but it is like some of their things, like having no connections, like with things, and almost no emotion. Not really no emotion, but like,
See, the Jedi, that's one thing where the Jedi, like, it does make sense for them to try and learn how to control their emotions and to not to try and control their attachments to people. Like, I think with the attachments, they went a little too far. But, like, Jedi are capable of killing people with their minds. It's very important for them to learn to reel in their emotions and stuff.
yeah,
You know? I don't know,
definitely.
it's hard. The Jedi are hard.
They are.
Um,
Yeah, so.
yeah. So, but anyway, Rafa has that beautiful monologue that I just loved. Like, she was saying it, and I was like, oh my god, these words, they're amazing.
These words.
Yeah, and, so then Ahsoka's, like, because, you know, this whole arc has been about Ahsoka, for the first time, really seeing, not necessarily the other side, but seeing, like, that a lot of people
How
are
this
getting
is affecting.
caught in the war. Because I think Ahsoka's viewpoint has kind of been like, you know, the separatists are creating this horrible war that the Jedi and the Republic are caught in. And that's not necessarily wrong.
No.
But she's seeing that, like, that the Jedi and the Republic aren't the only victims, you know?
Yeah. It's a hot topic. And she, she, like, obviously this, like, makes her more anxious for that, like, if they find out that she is a Jedi.
Right.
She's like, well, this sucks. And, so, is this where they escape? No, so Rafa gets pulled in to be, interrogated. Right?
Right. Hi, you're back.
Hi. Yes, I am here.
Alright, so interrogation scenes. Always fun watching people
still
we like get
recording?
electrocuted.
Tis recording?
Yes.
I'm always scared.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so yes, they're getting interrogated, and I kind of liked, not that I liked seeing them get interrogated and electrocuted, but I thought it was, like, we could see the difference. Like, Rafa, okay, well, so they're getting interrogated, and I thought it was cool because you could see Rafa is more about, like, talking a lot to try to get her way out of it. And then after they, like, throw Rafa back into the dungeon, or, like, the cell dungeon. I'm playing too many games.
The Pike dungeon.
Yeah. They what's it called? The Trace goes back in, and she gets interrogated too. But her way of getting out of it was to actually, like, beat people up, which I did not see coming.
That was an awesome scene. I was like, oh,
right?
no, little Trace. And then she tricked them first, so she could.
Yeah, she, like, pretend to faint.
Yeah, she was, like, pretending to get all freaked. That droid, by the way, the Pike torture droid, haunts my nightmares. Not really, but, like, it was like the creepiest droid, like, ever.
Yeah, it was not a good. It's very terrifying. The legs are terrible.
I was not a fan of that droid. I cannot say I'm excited to see it or anything like it ever again. I don't have that reaction a lot in Star Wars, but between that and the Borgullet, I'd still take that droid over the Borgullet, though. I hated that thing in Rogue One.
You hate Borgullet?
It's so bad. I don't like it. Yes. So. So yeah, torture and a Trace gets a blaster. Meanwhile, Ahsoka is like, she's like, I'm gonna get us out, and Rafa's like, how? And Ahsoka basically is like, oh, look over there, and then unlocks the thing with the Force. And is like, let's go. There's a power
let's
outage.
go. Whoa.
Ignore that none of the other prisoner gates
Or
open.
like closed, yeah.
But there's a power outage for our cell only.
Yeah, it's cool. But that happens, and then like Trace is running around. She's killing a bunch of people.
She's doing great.
She's doing great. And then she bumps into Rafa,
And
and
almost shoots her.
yeah, that would have been interesting.
I was like, because a lot of the times when like in Star Wars, when like especially in Rebels, like characters bump into each other by accident, I'm like just because of the way you live, how are you not pulling your blaster immediately? But Rafa did.
Yeah.
So first Rafa's a bad pilot, now she's pulling her blaster on her sister by accident. So she's breaking all kinds of ground.
She's doing great. It's fine. What happens after? I don't really remember that episode that well.
They managed to leave the Pike facility. I guess that's a word.
That's a word.
And they get into this cute little town.
Mhm.
It wasn't that cute, but it was nice looking. I would live there if it wasn't for like the warlords and stuff. And
yeah, that's fair.
So they're talking about like how they're gonna get out because the ship is like all the way up on like that ledge thing. And Ahsoka and Rafa are like, okay, we'll just like steal it. Or Rafa, I guess, is like, we'll just steal a ship. And
yeah.
Trace is like, my ship's up there, we're getting it. And this was again, I was like, Trace, I get it, but you're gonna die, man.
Yeah, and they were talking so loud. I was like, why are you talking so
but
loud?
Then this man, this alien, he's like a goat-looking alien dude, right? He I forget what their species is called, so they're goats. But
basically,
he goes up and asks them if they have any change, and Rafa tells him to shove off.
yeah.
And then that they live to regret that. But so they're talking very loudly. I think that's when the Mandalorians spot them. Because it's
yes,
Bo-Katan,
it is.
Ursa Wren, and some other Mando.
Yeah, she's happy to be there. She's supporting. She's a support group.
Yeah, she's vibing.
Yeah.
But and they have. I really want one of those Mando ponchos.
The cloaks. Oh
I really need Sabine to wear one.
It's so weird.
So that I can have one. I want one so bad.
It's so weird.
I want one.
I kind of want to do a night owl, but I mostly remember in Rebels where there's the like. Sabine gives Bo the Darksaber.
Yes.
And then there's like a bunch of clans in front of her.
Yes.
I think it was they said Clan Vizsla, but they have like the Japanese cherry blossom on them.
Yeah, I know which one.
I want that so bad. But like I should do epilogue Sabine.
Yeah, I wanted to have my custom Mando all like drawn out and planned and stuff, but I need to get season 4 done.
Yeah. That's the yellow one.
Purple and yellow.
Yeah, it was okay.
I'm not crazy about it, but I do need to complete the collection.
True. I'm not going to do that. I want epilogue Sabine, and then that's all I'll have forever. Yes.
Especially because
I wish I had the haircut.
My hair. Yeah. Just do it.
But like my head, no look good with very short hair.
Just do it. You just gotta do it.
But also I don't want to dye my hair. I like my hair color.
Every day in quarantine I get closer to shaving my head again. So like,
oh goodness. Everyone's doing that. They're like, quarantine time to shave your head. Like, oh dear.
In my defense, this isn't like me compulsively, like I've never shaved my head before, like I've done it before, but like every day I'm like, like I was up, I couldn't sleep last night because it was like thunderstorming really bad and it was loud, and I was up at like 1:30 in the morning, and I was like, the clippers are in the garage, I could just go right now.
Just go that, and then you can peacefully fall asleep.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So, no, I would have my head shaved more if I didn't like to dye it, to be totally honest. That's just a fact. It's so easy.
I just miss my short hair, but my mom's been cutting my bangs a bit, and they look fine. I want a short haircut. Like, I want it fluffy, not long and wavy. Oh well, we'll see what happens.
Do it and dye it purple.
I can't dye it. I like my hair color.
Grow back.
But then I can't donate hair.
You can after, like, because you keep your hair short, then when it grows back and you cut the dye out, then you have new virgin hair, so it's fine.
We'll see.
Anyway, Clone Wars. So the Mando squad with Ursa Wren.
Mando squad.
I was like 90% sure it was her because her voice sounded really familiar.
Yeah.
And her helmet.
Oh wait, Ursa, right?
Yeah, and her helmet was familiar too.
Yeah, because it has that golden on it.
Yeah, and you could sort of see like her little flap things that she has, which are so awesome. But she had, like, it was dark, and she had the hood on. So I was like, I'm like 90% sure that's her, and then in the credits it was her.
No, I saw her, and I was like, that's Ursa! It's Ursa! And I just, like, Bo was there. Everyone's supposed to get excited for Bo, but I was like, Ursa!
But you know what I did notice about Bo, though? Her helmet has her Rebels paint job. But in the first Clone Wars Season 7 promo, where Ahsoka and her are the holograms, she has her original Clone Wars helmet paint job.
I see.
So my theory is that they animated that scene. Are you back?
Yes, you went away. Okay. You said something about your theory. What was your theory?
My theory is that they animated that scene with Ahsoka and Bo and Rex and Obi-Wan and Anakin. They animated it first to use as a promo and use the original Bo-Katan model. But then when we actually see that scene, I think it's going to have her regular Rebels paint job because they reanimated it with the new model. But they hadn't made the new model yet when they wanted to get the promo out. That's my theory.
Yes. See. I agree.
Hi, buddy.
Yeah, I was really excited. I could hear the...
Buddy. You can tell it's Buddy because it's a lot slower than Freddy. Freddy goes like... Buddy was scared of the thunderstorms. He's a big baby.
He is a big baby. We cut Echo's nails, and now we can't hear him. Like, he'll just come up behind us, and we're like... Because, like, usually we just heard clack, 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 clack.
Yeah. Our dogs need their nails cut soon. Don't you, Buddy?
Yes. Echo's a distant echo. So I saw Ursa. I got really excited, and like I noticed because of the helmet, and then she talked, and I was like, "That's Ursa. That's 100% her." And she has because I was drawing this because I got a tablet and I'm excited. I've had the tablet for like a week now. But I'm still excited. So I drew Ursa, and I was like, man, she has a night owl. Uh-oh.
He knocked over the trash can.
Make sure he doesn't, like, what did he do? He unplugged your computer?
Yeah, well, I'm on a laptop now, so there's no, even if he unplugs it, it'll be fine for a while.
Good. So, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, I was drawing her, and... She has a night owl. It's not like this. It's not the smooth oval visor shape than the regular Sabine helmet in them have. So I thought that was interesting. But it still has that golden paint.
Buddy.
Oh.
Stop. Okay. Oh, here's
Click
Freddy.
clacks away.
Oh, here's Freddy.
Oh, that's faster.
You got the whole crew.
Good.
Alright, continue.
No, I just thought that was interesting. And then I felt really proud of myself because I was like, I know the background to use because I used the one that was used in Star Wars Rebels, like in the throne room.
Her painting.
Yeah, so I used that, and I was like, man, good job, Lizzie. Pat.
You did it.
I mean, it looks okay, but I'm just proud that I thought of the background. Because I was just going to do, like, different shades of yellow, and I was like, that's lame. But yeah, that was my thing for Ursa, because I'm excited to see more of Ursa.
I hope we'll see her take her helmet off some point in Siege of Mandalore.
What if baby
So that
Sabine?
people can stop texting me saying, was that the armorer in the newest Clone Wars episode?
Oh my god. No.
But like, it doesn't make sense. Like, how old do you think the armorer is?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
She'd have to be like pretty much elderly.
Yeah, and that doesn't seem like a thing. That's a thing. Yeah. So, were we talking about night owls? I think.
Night owls. Yeah,
I had
with
something
the
to say.
Manda squad.
Yeah. Oh, so I said, like, on my podcast, I said, like, the Rebels podcast, I said, oh, it would be so funny if we saw, like, baby Sabine, haha, I know it's not gonna happen, but, like, that'd be cool. And my mom was like, well, maybe. I mean, when I had you, I was carrying you everywhere, I took you everywhere. I was like, oh, that would be so cute.
Baby Sabine, and
she's hiding under the cloak.
Yeah, well, depending on how old Tristan Wren is,
yeah,
she either just had him or is, like, probably about to be pregnant with him. Or
is
like,
Tristan younger?
Yeah, so I thought he was older.
Me too.
He's, like, taller. But in one of the
But
Force
also
of the Destiny
guys
shorts,
are taller, yeah.
In one of the Force of Destiny shorts, Sabine calls him her little brother.
Oh yeah. I remember that. That's so weird, but
as someone with a sibling taller than me, I feel vindicated. That's Sabine also knows the
everyone's
struggle.
taller than you, though.
Freddie isn't, right, Freddie?
I'm sure if you just stood him up, maybe. Yeah. So I was like, ooh, what if baby Tristan or baby Sabine is under that cloak?
Sabine would be 2.
Yes, she would be. She would be small.
Very
so
tiny
small.
Sabine. She's with the dad finger painting, probably.
That would be so cute. She's doing her own Mando armor.
That would suck, though, to be like Ulrich Wren during the Siege of Mandalore if we're going with the assumption that, like, Ursa Wren just had Tristan. Because I can't imagine Tristan being that much younger than Ezra. That's ridiculous. But,
no, I think they're
I think she probably just had him. Which, like,
probably.
So she got pregnant right after having Sabine. So, like, super mom. Miss Ursa Wren. But, like, it's just, like, poor Ulrich Wren, like, his entire planet is in turmoil, and he's stuck dealing with a 2-year-old and an infant. An almost 2-year-old. She's not even 2 yet.
Yeah, he's chilling. It's fine. He's space dad.
Stay-at-home dad. An infant or a 2 and a 1.5-year-old at the same time. He's not chilling.
I was kind of chilling, just a little. I was babysitting, and I think there were 3 and like 2, maybe a little older. They were a little bit of a handful, but they were still cute. I think he's chilling. He's good. He's fine. He signed up for this. Yeah, no, he's space stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
Teaching people how to paint. But yeah, that's a cute idea. That's so cute. Then so they're watching all this. They're just watching Trace.
They're just watching.
Yeah.
They're just like hanging out. Which
See,
they could have probably interfered at literally any point, but
yeah.
I
thought, it was weird because I was like, oh, I thought that the reason they, like, because the sisters and Ahsoka get captured again after escaping. And like, to me, I was like, well, that was useless, but then I was like, no, calm down. There's character development, it was cool.
Did you say that to yourself, or did you read my Instagram post?
Huh?
Okay.
No, I said that to myself.
I know, I'm messing with you.
Okay.
my
did
most
see your
controversial
Instagram post.
Instagram post, though. I must say.
Hmm?
I must say that has been my most controversial Instagram
Uh-huh.
post. That the episode was good. So,
Yeah. A lot of I was scared for you, in the comments. So that's why all I said was like the only exciting part was Ursa. I wanted to mess with you a little. Um
I wasn't sure if you were messing with me. I was like, Lizzy, don't turn to the dark side.
No, I was definitely messing with you. Um and then what happened? So I thought the reason for that was like, oh, and the Mandos are going to come in and save the day. They're going to save them or something. I don't know why. I guess I just
Well, I
want
thought,
Mandos.
because, like, the Mandos saw them, and I was like, oh, cool Mandos. And then, like, there was that point where they were all kind of cornered and surrounded by the Pikes. I'm like, man, Bo-Katan and Ursa, and whatever that other chick's name is, they're gonna, like, fly in on their jetpacks and, like, shoot the
Yeah.
Pikes. It's gonna be awesome. And then that didn't happen. And they just got
Yeah.
captured again. And I was like, well,
I
alright.
was like, I thought that's what was going to happen after the episode. And
I was
like,
waiting
maybe...
for, like, that scene in The Mandalorian where the Mandalorians
Yeah,
all fly
basically.
over. I was like, oh man, and then it didn't happen. It's like, okay.
It did not happen. They were just chilling.
Yeah, they were just like, well, this should be interesting.
Mhm. So they're chilling and they get captured again. That was so like that must be so frustrating. I'm like still kind of surprised why the Pikes didn't just kill them in the first place. Like
I mean, because then we see in the 4th episode, the Pikes are still under control of Maul, and they're very scared of him. Maul, man, he's doing it all.
hello.
Back. Okay.
I'm getting
Talking about Maul.
I'm getting back like faster and faster.
Yes. Speed.
Speed.
So 4th episode. So they're in the cell, and
Mhm.
they manage to negotiate-ish a deal. So they pull them all out of the cell, and Ahsoka's like, I have a deal. They're gonna go get you the spice that they hid on a planet that I don't know, and you're gonna keep me here. They're gonna bring back the spice, and then everything will be fine. And of course, Trace and Rafa are like, well, not Rafa. Rafa caught on, but Trace is like,
oh my god.
I was like really worried she was gonna say something. I was like, Trace, just shut up for once.
Yeah.
Like,
she'd be like, what do you mean? We don't have family.
Like, Trace, I love you, but for once, don't ruin the plan.
Yeah.
And then Ahsoka says, like, and if they don't come back, I'll tell you where their families live. And
yeah. And I really liked, she looks at Rafa and she's like, trust me. And I was like, is she going to trust her? You're going to trust her?
That was interesting too, because I think Ahsoka obviously is a little closer in these episodes to Trace than Rafa. They just seem to get along a little bit better. But like, Ahsoka isn't naive to the fact that they're two different people and they have different strengths. So she knows to look to Rafa for that, where she would look to Trace for something.
Definitely wouldn't look to Trace for that.
So they negotiate this deal. Rafa and Trace get out of there. Trace is like, why'd she do that? And Rafa's like, she's sacrificing it for herself for us.
Yeah, she was like, that's rare. And I was like, she believes her.
And then Ahsoka's like, well, alright, I'm gonna get myself out now. Meanwhile, Rafa and Trace are going to get her back, which I don't think Ahsoka expected.
I don't think so either, but I thought that was really nice, especially because, like, where they live, like, no one would do that for them. They're on their own. But I really like that Rafa, like, was trying to be cool and was like, well, I don't want her to hold it over our heads or whatever, let's go get her.
Yeah, you could tell Rafa was, like, trying to, like, actually be nice, but she's like, I don't want to, like, be in trouble with her or anything. It's like, come on, Rafa, just be nice.
Just say it, man. You love her. It's fine.
So Ahsoka gets herself out, and she manages to go to, I guess it's, like, where they're manufacturing the spice, I guess, is where she was.
Yeah.
And so she's in, like, the factory little place, and she sees him talking to a hologram, and she gets suspicious about this hologram, and it's Maul.
She's like, I hear Sam Witwer.
Yeah, where I know it's you. I just think it's funny because Ahsoka hasn't really met Maul, but she's like, oh, that's the guy Kenobi hates.
Yeah, like Kenobi be spilling tea over Maul. That's him.
That's the real friendship, you know. She's like, well, my
Yeah.
friend hates him, so.
So basically, we're enemies.
Right.
I thought that was so weird. Like Maul just looks down, and I'm like, dang, that's some good like FaceTime stuff,
I was
man.
thinking like, cause like whenever we see hologram things like in Star Wars, they only show like the people there, and like maybe sometimes show like a little bit of something if they're holding it. So like he was looking down, and I was like part of me was like, oh well, maybe he's just looking down at the floor for dramatic effect to like scare the Pikes. But the other part of me was like, what does he see? What is his hologram set up that he can see down there?
That was like weird, and I was scared for all of them.
Maybe he has like a hologram room where he stands in the middle, and it gives him the whole surroundings. That would be scary.
Yeah, that.
But you know, he's so dramatic. I would not put it past him. You know.
I mean, imagine like your teachers when you're in a Zoom meeting could do that.
God.
Like.
I would be in so much trouble. Oh man. I mean, I pay attention to my Zoom lectures. I'm just sometimes my computer is here and then I'm across the room. You know. But I have no speaker.
Have you seen the people that like they like record themselves looking like they're paying attention and then they put that in front of the camera?
No, I have seen, but usually I put up a picture of like Danny DeVito or like I think one of my last classes I think it was Bernie Sanders. And I put a little card over my camera so it's just a full green screen. I've been Barney, like that Vine where the guy shoots a Barney toy. I've been I take screenshots of my professor's camera thing and make that my background.
Interesting.
I've been my dogs. I've been
nice.
I've been too many.
You've been everything.
I've been everything.
You should be a Maul and like look like you're looking at someone else's room. Like that would freak me out.
When I am on camera, I usually put myself either in Sabine's room or in the house from Parasite.
That makes sense.
Have you seen Parasite?
No, I have not.
It's on Hulu.
That's
your homework. Watch it.
Thank you. Is it scary?
No, it's violent, but it's not like jump scare or gory scary. I mean,
okay.
Like there's blood, but you don't see like someone's brains being ripped out or whatever.
Okay. Is there like an actual parasite like
there's no bugs.
Okay.
The title's metaphorical.
Okay. Good. We might watch that then. My dad wants to.
You should. It's amazing. Oh my god. I love that movie so much.
Okay.
It's mind blowing. It's amazing.
Are there twists?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. It's so good.
Have you seen The Arrival?
No.
You should.
But it's the same director who did Bong Joon-ho. He did Snowpiercer and something else.
I don't know what that is.
Snowpiercer. It's the one with Chris Evans on the murder train.
I thought that was something Express.
No, that's Murder on the Orient Express. No, it's not. No, I don't mean Murder Train.
Chris
like
Evans.
I don't mean Murder Train like there's a murder put on the train. I mean, there are murders on the train, but it's just like lots of people die on the train. But it's like I don't know. Parasite's better than Snowpiercer. Just watch Parasite.
Okay. Then you watch Arrival.
Okay. I will write that down.
But except like there's a story to it before. This isn't Star Wars. It's yeah, there's like it's called a short story, but it's like 50 pages. Like it's pretty short, but like compared to the short stories we were reading in class, like that was really long. But yeah, it's really good. It's really great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Star Wars.
Star Wars. So they get Trace is being like, well, they go. So I thought that was kind of smart. They go. The sisters go and try to like.
Spice.
Yeah, they actually get spice. But Axel said this beautifully. Rafa was playing a Karen character.
She asked to speak to the manager.
Yeah.
It hurt, I think
it did.
Lesson learned. is that if you're trying to get illegal drugs to smuggle to your friends so you can free them from the prison of the
Of
gangsters that
course.
you've crossed,
Yes.
you can be a Karen. That's
Yes.
that's the lesson.
That's very specific.
I mean, everyone gets in those
But
positions, right? That happens to everyone.
yeah, I mean, it happened to me the other day.
Who hasn't had run-ins with, warlords and crime gangsters and
I guess, I go through that every day,
that's the life.
tis. Um, what was I gonna say? That was Star Warsy. Yeah, so she played Karen. And then the guys were actually loading spice on there. I was like, oh, cool. And then a Trandoshan comes by, and we're like, oh dear.
Oh no. Transitions in Clone Wars never mean good things.
Yeah, they were fighting, and then I hated those other workers. I don't know what their species is, but they were like, what's that guy's name?
Well, they're like the one pod racer in Phantom Menace, right?
Yeah.
You mean? I can't remember his name, but
I remembered his name last time.
There's like the one shot and one walked by the camera and his hat just like back turned, and I was like, oh my god, they're cute little guys. And then I saw their faces and I was like, ew, never mind. Take it away.
Yeah. Put it back.
I don't want it.
Yeah, I did not like them. And they were evil, man. They sucked. Like, they were like, yes, kill her, kill her. I was like, you. And then Trace punched them in the face.
Trandoshan was the manager.
Yes, he was.
Important. So next time you're being mean to the poor grocery essential workers right now, if you're being mean to them, just know their manager might be a Trandoshan who will try to kill you.
Yeah.
So that's the other lesson. Don't be
Rafa
mean
barely
to
escaped.
workers. No, they got on that like space crane thingy.
Space crane.
And they like were swinging over this like big ravine.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what kind of safety regulations they have, but you should not have cranes that swing with no safety over giant
latches
ravines.
And yeah.
That wasn't cool. But
yeah, so she undid the latch, and then he fell down, very much down.
So they come back and Trace brings her back with a space crane after beating the little creepy dudes with a crowbar. And they got the spice.
Yeah, they did get the spice.
It worked.
Yeah, here's my thing. So they went back to so they went back for Ahsoka, and then like the Pike boy is like, "Hey, you're a Jedi. Look, she's a Jedi, man."
Well, yeah, we missed the part where Ahsoka was going to bomb the.
Oh yeah, I mean she did.
They had a little thing of, I guess, thermal detonators just lying there, and she's like, "Well, might as well, you know."
Yeah, and then she looks up where Maul is, and then finds out he's on Mandalore.
She's like, "What is he doing on Mandalore?" Because I guess Obi-Wan never told her. I guess no one told them that Maul and previously Savage were ruling an entire planet. I feel like that's important information to spread.
I think so too.
But
maybe they couldn't really do anything about it.
I guess, but you think Obi-Wan would have been like, oh, by the way, Mandalore, like that really powerful independent system that's being ruled by Darth freaking Maul.
Yeah.
I just feel like that might be important information to let, someone know.
Council.
But anyway.
That's fine. They're going to deal with it now.
Poor choices aside.
Hey, it was his one poor choice. Because Obi-Wan's perfect. Anyway,
he's
so
sassy British. He's perfect.
See, so they find out she's a Jedi because she force pushes someone.
That was like, to me, I was like, that was like her first move though too. She didn't even try to like punch or kick it. Like her first move was to force push.
She could have. She jumped so high. Why can't you just yeet yourself out of there?
Like your cover isn't blown yet. Like don't. I don't know, man. Like
she's learning, I guess.
We've seen you fight without the Force a couple times these past episodes, and if you were desperate, fine. But like that was your first move. I don't know. But anyway, she gets herself tasered. so then Rafa and Trace are like, oh, we got the spice, and they're like, oh yeah, well your friend's a Jedi, so
Yeah.
and they think that she was sent, and that Trace and Rafa are Republic agents that are trying to rat out the Pikes.
Mhm.
Republic, if they think that, the Republic must have some really poor choice of agents if they think that's possible. Just saying.
Yeah.
Trace and Rafa do not seem like professionals, especially
No, they
Trace.
do not.
But
Yeah, they what?
I was just gonna say, so they do, like, they have them all together, and Ahsoka's like, I'm not really a Jedi anymore, I left.
Yeah.
She did that thing where, like, because, like, we all know that, like, Ahsoka is not a Jedi and doesn't want to call herself a Jedi anymore. But she definitely, like, they just kept calling her a Jedi, and she was like, fine, whatever. Like, just didn't want to explain it.
Well, she's definitely still a Jedi. Like, she acts like a Jedi. Or at least how a Jedi should
I don't know if she ever
act.
stops acting like a Jedi. Like, even in, like,
Rebels.
when she's clearly defining herself as not a Jedi. I don't think she ever, because I think Jedi, like, have some misguided philosophies, but morally, they're pretty good people, you know?
Yeah. And I think she is a good people. So I don't know, it makes sense that she's still labeled as a Jedi,
Well,
even
also,
though she doesn't want to be.
I mean, I think most people in the Star Wars galaxy to see someone and they're like, well, they're using the Force and not indiscriminately murdering, so I guess they're a Jedi. I think that's the bar
true.
for Jedi for most people.
That's true.
So anyway, Rafa and Trace are like, wait, you can leave?
Yeah, like, why would you leave? But that's the thing, like, why were they asking, like, why did you leave?
Well, I think to them, I don't think, like, even with the thing with their parents, I don't think Rafa or Trace even, like, hate the Jedi. I think they resent them, but I do think they sort of, like, somewhere internally recognize, like, well, you know, the Jedi are good people. So I think that, I think, and also for them, like, because they don't know, like, what happened with, obviously, the bombing and everything. So I think they're also kind of like, well, you had this perfect life on the upper levels of Coruscant. Why would you leave that behind and come down?
That's true.
Come down to 1313 of your own free will, you know.
That's fair. But yeah, so they've done an escape, and I thought it was cool because when we see the night owls, they're following them, and I was like, why do you not see this? Like, there's no other ship around you except that one, and it's following you.
To be fair, they might have been preoccupied.
Yeah, probably. And and then they use that same shot that, like, the night owl, like, turns and, like, presses a button, and then, like, Boba Fett does that too in a scene. So that was cool.
Yeah. I like their ship a lot.
Yeah, it's a really cool ship. I thought it was smaller. I thought that, like, they were gonna have, like, 3, but, like, nope, they can fit the whole crew in there.
The whole squad.
Yeah, the whole squad. Whole night owl gang. So then they go back and they follow them back all the way to Coruscant. And that's when, Rafa and stuff were like, why'd you leave? And then Ahsoka's like, well, this happened, kind of. I just don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And then we see Bo. And, like, last Ahsoka saw was, like, she was being a bad.
Yeah, Bo was still a terrorist last time Ahsoka met her.
Yeah. So she was like, stay back, like, And, and I thought, I don't know what it was. I mean, I'm sure it's because of the new animation style. It's not new, but it's, like, refined, I guess. Her facial features just seemed so soft, and she seemed not murdery bad, I don't know what it was. And for some reason, it reminded me of Satine. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so sad.
Yeah. So, and then Bo was like, oh, she's basically like, don't worry, I'm not a terrorist anymore, it's fine. Death Watch is gone. And then she's like, we have a
Ursa's
common
in the background.
And it's Maul. Yeah, Ursa's chilling. And, and Ahsoka's like, Maul. And so then I guess Ahsoka decides to join them, and she leaves her trash bike with Rafa
Yeah,
and
so
Trace.
she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave this." I thought she was gonna say like, "I'm gonna leave my trash here," like
My trash bike.
my trash bike. But she says something like, "I'm afraid where this path might lead," and they're like, "To the Jedi." So like, she keeps technically coming back to it, like for that specifically, and then like in Rebels, she like meets Jedi. She's like with Kanan and Ezra, and they're training, and that was cool. And then it leads her back to Anakin/Vader.
Yeah. I think one thing that hit me was that like she says like, "Oh, I'll leave my bike here in case I need to come back,"
Mhm.
and it's like I know she doesn't. It sucks.
Maybe she will. Shush. It's
I
fine.
mean, in the Ahsoka book, it says she travels a lot between different places. So maybe Trace and Rafa were one of the first places she went back to, but she didn't want to like endanger them, so she left.
Maybe.
Possibly. Um,
Possible.
but also she
Um.
probably wouldn't go back to Coruscant because that's where like Palpatine
Yeah.
was.
True. Hmm.
Difficult.
Very difficult. I think she's fine. Uh. But. So they go, and then she leaves with them, and then that's the end of the arc.
Yes.
And I thought,
So next week is this week is Siege of Mandalore, and I'm not ready. It's gonna be great.
I'm very, very excited.
Order 66 is like a internal conflict for me because on one hand it's like so sad and I hate it. On the other hand, I love the drama and the tragedy. It's so fun, you know.
No, I get that. Yeah,
It's just
it's it's gonna be a roller coaster, and we're gonna have fun.
the
We're gonna have
drama.
fun. Let the drama begin.
I'm honestly one of the things I'm most excited for this season is not even necessarily Siege of Mandalore as a whole. Like, I'm definitely really excited, but I'm really excited to see what the final shot of Clone Wars is going to be. Because whatever it is,
Because you are film and television.
but whatever
boy.
it is going to be burned into my mind forever. You know?
Oh God. Yeah.
And I think the last shot of anything is really important. And Clone Wars has now had 3 last shots because you have Ahsoka leaving, and then you have Yoda walking, I guess. Kind of, what was he doing in that last shot? I don't know. But then we're gonna have the last shot. And like, what if it has like Vader in it? If I see Vader in the Clone Wars style, I'm gonna lose my mind, Lizzie.
Hey, I don't know what's gonna happen, man.
What if we
How
see
many
Vader?
episodes do we have left?
4. What if we see
4.
Vader animated in the Clone Wars style? Like, what if at the end there's like a montage ish of like where like they're going? You know? We see. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
I mean, Ahsoka won't be there to see that.
No, but like we could still get a shot of it. You know?
I don't know.
Because we could get. I don't know. I'm so excited. I mean, in the Ahsoka novel, Ahsoka says that she and Rex buried their stuff and left. Are we going to see them bury their stuff? You know?
Perhaps.
Like, there's so much. I'm so excited.
You are. I want to see it. What happened? Like, how did Gregor, God.
I don't know.
Gregor, Rex, and Wolf we're like, hey, we're gonna be buddies and we're gonna take out our chips together.
Yeah, that's because Rex didn't have the scar from his chip, I don't think, in Bad Batch.
No, so he might have done it after.
Yeah.
Because obviously he wouldn't do it then, because then he would have like the people around him would have been like, hey, what the heck is that? And then
what if like he I'm crazy, never mind. But like, oh
no,
God,
say.
So the first thing that I thought when you said that was like, because he would have to probably get it out between Bad Batch and Siege of Mandalore to not go for Ahsoka. But what if he does have it in, and he tries to kill Ahsoka, but because he's aware of it, when none of the other clones that do, like, are aware of it, probably, he's able to fight it. I don't think that's likely. But, like, it just makes me so sad to think of, oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm going to be so depressed. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited.
I feel bad. I'm not one of those people that get excited, like, super, like, energetic. I'm just, like, I bottle it up inside until I see it, and then I scream and cry. So, we're going to see how that goes.
So excited. I hope we get to see Ahsoka tell Maul that he's only half a Sith. Because that's in the Ahsoka novel. Ahsoka novel has flashbacks to the Siege of Mandalore. And if we don't get that line, I'm going to be really sad. Because I think it's one of the funniest lines ever. And I really want to see Maul's rage on his face when she says it.
I see. I read, like, maybe a few pages of that book.
It's so good.
It wasn't for me.
It's really good.
But I heard it was really, really good, and I'm sure it's really
good. If you liked this
good.
last arc, I think you'd like the book if you read the whole thing.
See, like, I did like the arc, but only if I can see it on a film. Like, I wouldn't want to read about it. Like, I wouldn't want to, like, I like action, and while I really like character development, I like seeing it more on screen than having to read all about it.
Yeah. See, Star Wars books are hard for me because I love watching action, but I'm not really good at reading it because I just kind of lose track of, like, where people are and what's going on.
I do that too. I'm like, wait, wasn't Ahsoka over there?
Because I just finished the Thrawn Alliances. Or no, I read Thrawn Alliances. I did finish Thrawn Alliances recently, which is a great book, especially for when you're in a Clone Wars mood.
Yeah.
But what's the one after it? Treason. I just finished Thrawn Treason recently, and there are so many space battles in that book. And it's, like, a lot of them are with ships, and it would just say, like, the number of the ship, and I don't know what that looks like. Like, that means nothing to me.
Yeah, you have to look it up.
But then some of the ships don't even have, like, visual pictures because they're just from the books. So I'm reading it, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. Like, what does this mean? What is happening? I don't know how to read.
My dad is here. Dad, what is your opinion on this arc? The last arc.
I think it's a good growing arc for Ahsoka. Because she has to deal with real people. And as we know from previous seasons, she's not very good at it.
True. What are you excited for in the next arc?
Mandalorians. Maul.
Our theory is that baby Sabine was under Ursa's cloak the entire time. My theory.
But she has a brother.
She does have a brother. A very small brother.
I analyzed the silhouettes. There's no babies hidden in jetpacks.
So, I need to know your thoughts. Do you think Ursa Wren just had Tristan, or she's going to have Tristan after the Siege of Mandalore?
Dad, she is asking, because I have earbuds in, but she is asking, Dad, someone in Animal Crossing made a Dave Filoni outfit.
Nice.
And I want it. Anyway, so when do you think that they had, Ursa had Tristan?
Tristan's younger, right? Well, it would have to be later than Sabine. So Sabine is what, 2 years older than Ezra?
Yes.
So Sabine has to be about 2 or almost 2.
Yes.
So, how old is Tristan?
It doesn't say, but I would, she, because she's obviously not, like, super pregnant right now.
Well,
so I would
1 or 2
say,
years, I guess.
I would, because then that would make him
So
younger
she
than
just
Ezra.
had Tristan, or she's just about to have Tristan.
Which one? Because I think she just had him.
You're dead. There. Zoe, speak.
Oh, well, I think she just had him, because if she's obviously not, like, super pregnant right now, so she'd have to have him, he'd have to be, like, considerably younger than Ezra, and I just can't see that.
We're not like Anakin. We would have known that she's pregnant.
Please, come here, no. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how old he is. That's what we got to figure out.
Oh, Axel's dragged Dad out.
Oh,
good day, Dad. Okay, so
we finished
I
the
don't know,
arc.
Baby Tristan.
Baby Tristan. I like.
Baby Sabine.
I mostly like the image of Alric Wren struggling to take care of these tiny, tiny babies, and like being covered in like finger paint, while Ursa Wren is out like fighting for the entire planet.
Yes.
So I choose to believe that she just had him.
Dude, that's so cool because even like Emmanuel Doza does that. Like his wife had to go out and save the world, so or galaxy.
So yeah, I just really like, I don't know, I love that image. Because you think like after the Siege of Mandalore, Ursa Wren pretty much had to stay home most of the time.
Yeah.
And if she does that, then we don't get struggling Alric Wren being covered in paint and child vomit. And I just think that's a really funny image. So for that reason alone,
I think it would happen.
It's possible.
Yes, it is possible. Dad, how do you feel about Father Wren taking care of 2 small children?
That he's probably good at it.
You think he's good at it?
I can sympathize with him.
You're looking up how old Tristan is? That's probably a good idea.
I don't think he has an exact age though. I think because I thought he was older, and then in that Force of Destiny short, Sabine called him little brother, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, I would like to issue a correction to you guys. When I was on your podcast, I think the last time I said the Clone Wars, the new intros, I said that they fade. They actually dissolve. I used the wrong word, and I'm really sorry.
You know what? You're never gonna be forgiven, Zoe.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't pay attention to that. I just like whoop, next scene. But yeah. I think we just went over a whole arc.
We did it.
How long is this?
This is currently at 88 minutes and about 45 seconds.
88 minutes.
Although it will probably be shorter because I did list all the times where you dropped out for like 5-10 seconds. So it'll be a little bit shorter.
Lizzie dropped out again? Lizzie dropped out a second time?
I have it at 19-0, 38-0. Just the rough times. 38-45, 48-30, and 58-10.
Wow. That was a lot of times.
It's 5 times.
But I came back real quick.
Yes.
I got the hang of it. Yeah. So I'm excited for the next arc, and I hope everyone starts to like it again.
I know everyone pretty much liked Bad Batch. There were like a few complaints because they changed some scenes. And then Ahsoka Arc, no one would stop complaining about. Well, not no one, but like there's a lot of people just like, oh, it sucks. And she doesn't have lightsabers. I'm like, okay.
Like, cool. I mean, why would she?
Right. So I'm just like, I hope
especially when she's trying to keep on a down low.
I hope everyone likes Siege of Mandalore because, well, especially I don't know. I feel like because everyone's like, oh, it's underwhelming. I'm like, that's more on you than the show, isn't it?
Yeah, like the whole like being overwhelmed thing. That's like a personal thing.
Yeah.
Like, I want it. I'm excited for it.
I mean, I'm not. I was super excited for Clone Wars, like super excited, and I like when they first announced Clone Wars season 7 was coming back. My mom will tell you, I screamed and ran up the stairs. I was so excited. But and I'm not underwhelmed, so it's on you, buddy.
Dad, are you excited?
Yes, very excited.
Very excited.
I'm also sad because in 4 weeks we're gonna be done with Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Like done.
Unless they trick us. They should trick us.
I'm kind of half expecting them to be like Clone Wars secret in the middle season.
Yeah.
I hope we eventually get like the things that I'm missing so far in Clone Wars is Cad Bane and Boba Fett.
Yes, that needs to be something.
You know, where's my comic book or whatever? Like we're about to close off Maul, we're about to close off Ahsoka, we pretty much closed off Rex. You know, and there's like some other stuff, but I think like the bigger character, we closed off Ventress's story, like her story has been told, even though it wasn't animated. But I want, like, I think Boba Fett, most of his character growth happens in the Clone Wars. And he's like a bigger than Clone Wars character.
Yeah.
So I think, you know my theory on bigger than Clone Wars characters. I'm like, give them the attention. And that's why, oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, that's why I was like, oh, the Bad Batch? Like, I mean, that's cool and everything, but why are they doing that? But it ended up really tying in with Rex's story, so that made it important and deserved to me.
Yeah, I think with the Mandalorian season 2, because now they're marketing Mandalorian stuff more. Like there's a lot more stuff coming out with like the skull and like Mandalorian stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get that story at some point. Right. The only thing I'm really gonna miss that I know we can't get now is the Ahsoka versus Palpatine arc, because timeline-wise it doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because that art was so cool.
That was supposed to be how she was gonna get back to the Jedi.
Yeah.
You know, but although I kind of like the idea that she's like out there helping on Mandalore first before the Jedi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I like that idea better than her just going back to the Jedi and being like, well, they're trying to kill you, so I guess I'm going to be a good Jedi now.
I just wanted to see her getting shocked through a lightsaber while sealing a Sith temple by Palpatine.
Like, maybe Darth Maul will level up and you'll still get that shot.
Maybe, that would be cool. But through, like, a Mandalorian fancy door.
Yeah, through a cool, like, diamond-shaped door.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, because we don't really even know with the Siege of Mandalore, like, we don't even really know who, like, wins. Like, I guess, like, because the Mandalorians don't really win, but Maul can't really win, because he's not doing well in Rebels, so it's like...
Well, like, if you've read the Ahsoka book, like, you know how it ends.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it ends also with the occupation of Mandalore, which ends up turning into an Imperial occupation.
Well, and it doesn't Order 66 happen during the Siege of Mandalore? So, like...
Yes.
That sucks.
Yes.
It does suck.
It does suck.
But it's also awesome.
But it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
It do be like that.
But also, like, I really like the idea that, you know, when most Jedi are getting Order 66, they're like, haha, oh no, my whole army. Now there's, like, this really cool idea where Ahsoka's like, aha, oh no, half my army. But the other half is Mandalorians.
Yeah, that's true.
So when somebody's like, oh, good soldiers follow orders, these other dudes are going to be like, I'm sorry, what?
I do want to know, like, what happened with Wolf, though, because we know Plo Koon gets shot down by his own dudes. I was just saying I want to know what happens with Wolf, because we know Plo Koon gets shot down by his own guys. So unless Wolf wasn't, he got his chip out and none of the other Wolf Pack did, so, like, he was the only one that didn't shoot at Plo Koon, or if Plo Koon, like, did it and then realized, because we know the clones eventually, like, snap out of it. And, like, if he realized and felt bad, so Rex was like, yeah, we got this chip, you want to take it out? You know, it's like a precaution in case it happens again. You know? Like, what if Rex has Wolf take his chip out, like, after Order 66, but Wolf had it in as, like, a precaution so it doesn't happen again, you know? Because I'm not sure, like, why, how, because Rex and Wolf don't really connect, so I wonder if they, like, clones are, like, trying to find each other after the Empire takes over, you know? Like, clones that disagree.
Right.
Because we know some went with it, like Cody went with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's true.
Well, I guess as far as we know, he's kind of the only one.
I mean, we don't know if he's the only one. He's the only one.
Well, not the only one, but the only one, like, on screen of the named kind of clones that we see, like, literally do it. I mean, I guess unless you count Bly, unless you count...
Well, I mean the ones that went with the Empire afterwards, not the ones that did Order 66, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, we already know it's Gregor. Like, we know Gregor, Wolf, and Rex. We just don't know how and when. So,
well, I meant, like, which ones are working for the Empire.
Oh,
and,
I
like,
see what you're saying.
You know, so I think something, maybe I'm thinking about Legends, but I think something said Cody still worked for the Empire. Like, even as an old dude, like, training cadets or something.
Mm-hmm. What, did you read Ahsoka?
Yes.
Okay. Can I do little mini Ahsoka spoilers right now?
It's been out for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, but just like, okay, so at the end of that book, like, we know that her and Rex fake their death.
Yes.
That way, that's how they escape, and they both go their own ways, and that's why she doesn't have lightsabers and stuff like that. But then, in in Rebels, like the Imperials are like they know that those clones are on that planet. Like they know Wolf and Rex, and they know his number and everything. Do they know it's Rex? Do they ever call him by name?
I think call by number.
So I just like that was a thing that I was like, huh? When did they find out that those clones were alive
Well,
and
did they?
chilling?
I know. Well, they said that Rex like buried his stuff, but maybe they didn't like have like a register that said he was dead. You know,
Right,
like they
right.
maybe they didn't keep track of like every individual clone that was dead, but then somehow they like knew it was Rex.
Right,
Still.
or it seems like they had communications with Wolf or whatever
Yeah.
to this clone crew, and they didn't know specifically who was in the crew.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That was a little thing that I was always wondering since like the end, but it would be really cool. So like, there's two things that I think we could go in. Either Rex has already taken out his chip, and Rex is also like, "What the hey?" and surprised when all this stuff goes down, or Rex didn't take out his chip, and Ahsoka has to kind of like knock him out, or you know what I mean?
That's what
Like,
I said. I said like, what if he like, or I said, what if because he's aware of it and other clones aren't, he's able to like somehow fight it.
right, right,
You know?
and he gets a little bit fives
Yeah.
before they do it.
But like,
I don't
cause
know.
he doesn't have the scar from the removal in the Bad Batch.
Okay, but then there's another thing. This is Rebels. In Rebels, when Kanan's telling the story and like they first meet the clones, like Kanan's like they turned against us, like, and there's that really cool part. Rex is at the room and he's like, "We didn't all follow the order. Some of us made the right decision," which like says like what to me what that kind of said was Wolf followed the order, and Rex didn't.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, "Oh, he probably took out his chip and like was able to do it," but maybe he didn't take out the chip, and like you said, and he was still able to like fight it.
Yeah. That would be cool,
Either
like
way,
to watch him be
yeah,
conflicted with that.
we're about to find out.
Yeah.
We have 4 weeks.
Because I figured, because when I saw the Bad Batch arc, I noticed he didn't have the scar. And so, and I figured, because at first I was like, well, you know, it's just because it's Clone Wars. And then I'm like, wait, they made a whole new model for this season, you know? So they would have added the scar. So, yeah.
I don't know. Either way, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Head nods all around.
Yes,
Podcast head nods.
of course. Yeah, I think I'm excited for it. I think we can end it here.
Yeah.
That's a podcast.
That's a podcast. You know, you'd think it'd be easier to podcast during quarantine, but we've done this so many times now. We're like, oh, I can podcast anytime. We're like, oh, I can podcast anytime, and then we just don't say a time.
Yeah,
So we just never
That's
do it.
true. Yeah. It do be like that. I mean, we still have like the schoolwork and stuff.
Yeah. Like, surprisingly, that was almost easier to like schedule when you had stuff to do, because it's like, well, I can do this time or this time, and it's not like I can do whatever. Just
I mean, I could kind of do whatever, but yeah, I don't know.
I have 2 classes on. Actually, one of my classes got canceled today because the internet went out for my professor because of the storm.
Oof.
Which
That's
I wouldn't be
That's
lying if I said I wasn't a little happy about it, but I do feel bad for her.
Yeah, stuck in the house without internet. That would be very scary.
I think when like the whole like toilet paper thing was at like its peak, my mom was like, you know, if I had to pick between internet and toilet paper, I'd pick internet. I'm like, yeah, me too.
Well, on the internet, you can find other ways to have toilet paper.
Right, exactly. You can print out your toilet paper.
Dad is making a face.
And I'm out of this podcast now.
And he's out. But yeah, so I think that's a podcast.
So what's a podcast? So, I was Zoe.
I was Lizzy.
Thank you for listening to Star Wars Geek Girl. May the Force be with you, and goodbye.
Good day to you. Stay safe.
Star Wars geek girls. They're geek girls that like Star Wars. And sometimes cry.